Hello, so I am back to tell you a little bit more about the trip I went on recently to Mount Fuji, and I just left you last time having a barbecue, having enjoyed a barbecue, lots of nice food. Afterwards, it was bath time, shower time. I don't know if you know this, but people in Japan tend to shower in the evenings and not the mornings, which I think is more common in the Western world, maybe. It's certainly more common in England. And after bath time, we all sat round in the living room, and we sat round this low table, sort of like a coffee table, but with it looks like a duvet, like a bed cover, coming from under it, and in the middle of it there's like a heater. So it's called kotatsu in Japanese. It's like a low heated table thing, and the idea is that you sit under it and it warms you, but it's only heating up a small area, so it's a very efficient way to heat, to provide heating for you, because you don't heat the whole room, you just heat this small bit under the table, but you benefit from the heat when you sit under it. And it's surprisingly effective, actually. It works really well. I built one when I was in England. Because it's impossible to buy them over there. Sort of impossible. It may as well be impossible. You can import them, but they won't work because the voltage is different between Japan and England. So yeah. I made one as a DIY project, and it worked very well. I have to say, it turned out quite well. But yeah, it was fun to use like a real one. I have before. I have had this experience of using one before, and I can't remember where or when, but yeah. But I unfortunately, we don't actually have one in our flat, and I think that's a shame. I want one, but my wife's not really keen on them. I'm like my interest in like Japanese stuff is like quite, I like traditional way of doing things, and my wife, she does like that sort of style, like sleeping on the floor on a mattress, and sitting around like a low table to eat and stuff like that. I sort of like that. Maybe I like it just because it's so different to what I'm normally used to. But my wife's not too, she's not as interested as I am, I don't think. So like sometimes we're going around a shop and I see like one of these kotatsu, these low heated tables, and I say like, oh, yeah, we should get one of these. It's really cheap. Let's get one of these. And she's like, no. But I mean, I know it's a bit like, I don't know, maybe old-fashioned for some people, but at the same time, it's a really cheap way to heat things. I mean, I was talking about this recently in the episode about fixing the air conditioning, but we have to heat the whole place, or at least one of the rooms, like the main living room, with an air conditioner, and it's expensive doing that. It is expensive, I've noticed. So if you want to save money, getting one of these like low tables, these low heated tables, is like quite a cheap way to to just heat a small area and then heat a small amount of people rather than heating the whole room. Anyway, I've gone really off topic here. So we sat around that table, carried on drinking, had some snacks and stuff like that. It was just fun listening to everyone talking about different things, and yeah, it was nice. Oh, I'm terribly rude of me. I forgot to mention that it wasn't only my wife's parents, my parents-in-law, it was also my brother-in-law as well. He came with us. So yes, there were 6 of us in total, 5 adults and 1 baby. But yeah, it was just nice, relaxing time, chatting, spending time together. Great. And then the next day, as you know, I woke up feeling refreshed after lying in that very, very comfortable futon thing. Actually, given the choice between like a Western style bed, like one of those raised beds with like a big thick mattress, or like the sort of Japanese style. Well, it might not be just Japanese style, sort of like Oriental style, Eastern style, sleeping on the floor. I think I prefer the sleeping on the floor option. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, perhaps not. I don't know if it's about comfort because I think I think it's probably about the same. It's just, the comfort of the bed is dependent upon the mattress, I suppose. So whether you've got your mattress high up or low down doesn't really make much of a difference. I suppose it's safer. If you do roll out of bed, you're just already on the floor, so you don't really have far to fall. So that's a plus. But no, I suppose it's just... I suppose the main reason I like it is that you can move your bed out of the way. One thing I've always hated, this is a weird thing to say, but one thing I've always hated is like bedrooms. And maybe this is because, well, I suppose lots of us do, but like when we're children growing up, perhaps if we're lucky enough, we have our own bedroom. So, in your parents' house, you've got, this is my bedroom, this is my sister's bedroom, and so on. And one thing that used to really annoy me is my bedroom was quite small. I mean, not incredibly small, sort of, I suppose, like average bedroom size maybe. But I always felt like I wanted more space. So I was always trying to like cut down on the amount of things in there, because there was like a wardrobe in there, and the bed in there is huge, and I had a computer desk in there, and it just made the whole room feel really small. So I was trying to like make things, generate as much space as possible. The one thing I really didn't like was this bed, because it was, just so big, like a traditional, English style bed. I don't know, Western style bed. I don't know. But it just took up so much space. And I thought, like, if only I could get rid of that somehow. If only I could move it out of the way, then I'd have loads of space in this room. It would be great. And then, of course, if you can with like the sort of Japanese futon bed thing, you can just roll it up and shove it in a cupboard or something if you're not using it. So you can instantly like transform a room from like a bedroom into a something else room. You don't have to have a room just for keeping beds in, which I think is nice. I like that idea. I like the idea of a room becoming a bit more multi-purpose. So I think that's the reason I prefer them the most. But of course, lots of people don't like it because, you've got to get up and you've got to fold everything. And yeah, I suppose that can be a bit of a nuisance. But I think once it's a part of a routine, you just get used to it. And you don't think about it anymore. Right, let's get back on topic then. So we set out fairly early in the morning and went to a car park. We weren't going to a car park. We parked in the car park. We were going to what's called a ropeway in Japanese, which is bizarre because that word doesn't even exist it does exist in English, but it means something completely different. It's called a cable car in English. So we went on this cable car, which, if you don't know what that is, it's like wow, this is going to sound weird. It's like a train carriage with no wheels that's suspended. It's hanging from a cable, and so it will lift you all the way up a mountain, usually up a mountain or a very, very large hill, so that you don't have to walk all the way up there yourself, and it's much quicker. So we rode that, got to the top of this mountain. It wasn't Mount Fuji. You can't get a cable car all the way up to Mount Fuji. It'd be good if you could, but wow, that would be one mighty cable car, like really ridiculously long. I can't imagine how many kilometers long it would be. But no, it was a much smaller mountain that we were going up that was very close to Mount Fuji. And from the top of this mountain, I actually don't know the name of it. Maybe I did, but I've forgotten it. But anyway, at the top of this mountain, you had these amazing views of Mount Fuji and all the sort of lakes surrounding it. Well, not all of them. You can't see all of them. I could see maybe one or two, but a massive lake this was. And it was great just seeing all of those mountains everywhere, because it's not just one mountain. There's mountains everywhere and Mount Fuji. But Mount Fuji is like just so big compared to the rest of them. It's amazing. But yeah, I think those were probably the best views. I don't know. I do like seeing like Mount Fuji when you're on like ground level, and you just see it rising up out of the ground. But also from a height. It's the first time I've seen it from a height. And when you're up high, you can see like how big it is, because it's a weird. I think it's a weird shape for a mountain. My image of a mountain is like Like, take the character V and then turn it upside down. Like very steep sides. But Mount Fuji isn't like that. It's quite steep towards the top, but then it just goes out for miles and miles and miles. And I don't even know where it begins and where it ends. It's just that big. So we didn't actually climb on Mount Fuji, but I'm pretty sure we were walking on it. We didn't, we were still far away from the top. But it's so big. I think even being in this area near these lakes, I think you're still walking on it because it's just so big. It doesn't look like it because it's so, like the slope is so gentle. But yeah, it's massive. I don't know. I like it. I like looking at mountains, I guess. Anyway, let's leave it there for now, and I'll pick this up again next episode. So see you soon. Bye-bye.